Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Trevor. Very grateful to have you here. And today's video is going to be a recap of my weekly fragrance rotation, just about the first week of March here. I believe today is the 11th, so this was the 2nd or 3rd all the way up through the 10th. Really getting into that springtime feel, rotating out of my more dense florals and sweet gourmand style fragrances and reaching for some of my more green and bright and refreshing style grabs. So starting off with that theme, went for Duc de Vervins à l'Extrême by Houbigant for Monday. This is a really beautiful classical fougere style fragrance, harkening back to the 80s with a little bit more of a modern rounding out of the edges here, not quite as brash and abrasive, even though it does have that really great styled oak moss in here. Really beautiful lavender as well. A little bit of a sporty fougere, I want to say. Smells like something that would have been coming out of a men's locker room in the 80s, you know, back when they were playing tennis or racquetball or sporting events like that. That just kind of reminds me of a sportsman's club style appeal. Definitely really good quality fragrance for the price. You can usually find this for under $100. I actually got mine on the Perfume Spot, their outlet section, for $50. So shop around. This is a little bit hard to come by. It's not quite available at discounters as often as it should be, but anything under $100, this is a really great grab and an awesome fougere. This is Duc de Vervins à l'Extrême for Monday. So for Tuesday, I went with what this fragrance is cloning technically. It does have a little bit of a more Jacquard Noir style scent profile, if you're familiar with that fragrance, but I believe it was harkening back to this 80s classic. This is Gucci Nobile, a sadly discontinued amazing fougere from the house of Gucci. Really beautiful green fragrance, as you can see from the juice in here. This is a 60 ml bottle. I bought this after it had been discontinued and hyped, so I paid about $200 for this 60 ml. I think it's pretty worth it given the style of quality of fragrances that I pick up for niche. I mean, definitely would rather pay $200 for this than like a bottle of Parfum de Marly Greenly. But yeah, pretty much the same fragrance here. This one is a little bit more sporty. Like I said, the lemon in here has a little bit more of a zesty, invigorating, wet kind of feeling, I want to say, whereas this one, the citruses are there, but the lavender goes a lot more creamy than in this one, and it just has a little bit more of a smooth operator type of sensation, lacking that sporty vibe that it gives off. Really beautiful stuff for a classy gentleman. Definitely would recommend picking this one up if you have the money, or if you see a good deal, or if you come by this at a flea market or something to that effect. I think this is going to be really, really worth owning, especially if you're a fan of the fougere genre. So that's Gucci Nobile for Tuesday. Alright, and for Wednesday, really excited to break this one out. I wore it on a day where the weather looked a lot like what is going on behind me here. A little bit brisk, kind of in the 40-degree Fahrenheit range. A cool spring breeze, but nice and sunny, where the warmth of the sun is really radiating off your skin, making you feel like you can lay down in the grass despite the chill. Dior Homme Original. So this is a soapy iris with a really nice cacao powder type sweetness is really what you get here. A kind of like a chocolate lipstick, if you're not familiar with the scent profile. Powdery iris, beautiful, elegant, gentlemanly, a little bit metrosexual, I think is a word that's been ascribed to this fragrance, and I think that's appropriate, but it does come off extremely masculine if you are able to pull it off. And just this is my favorite line in fragrance currently. This, the Intense, and the Parfum are my favorite DNA at the moment, and this one is hard to find. Rarely comes in stock at discounters, but Joma Shop and FragranceBuy.ca do have it for right around the $100 mark when it comes in, and I highly recommend adding yourself to the emailing lists to get this, because it is a classic and I think a must-own. So that's Dior Homme Original for Wednesday. Thursday, this first time full wearing with this one, Armani Cedre. This is a really rather nice violet fragrance. I think it could have been called Eau de Violet instead of Eau de Cedre. Although the cedar does play a really important prominent role in here. It adds the powdery textural feel and the woody base that is otherwise distinguishing this fragrance from others that are also violet centric, like Burberry's Touch. This reminded me a little bit of Original Wood by D Squared. This reminded me a little bit of, so it's in that ballpark of that kind of musky, powdery, fresh violet leaf. So not as green as the bottle would suggest, nor as cedar prominent. It's really more of a violet fragrance to me, but in terms of violet fragrances like Burberry Touch and Original Wood by D Squared, this one is the clear winner in that DNA genre. So if you're a fan of those two, check this one out. I believe it's been discontinued, but you can find it for just under or right around $100 on the discounters. So looking forward to wearing this one a lot more, especially on rainy days. I think is where this one will shine for me. So that was Armani Cedre for Thursday. Okay, Friday, this fragrance was the closest I have ever come to having an actual panty dropper. I got a comment or compliment, depending on how you're looking at it, on wearing this fragrance, where the woman said, it was a coworker of mine and she smelled my perfumes before, but never have I gotten a reaction out of her like this. She said, "Boy, you better stay away from me with that cologne." And I thought that it was turning her off, or that it was something that was, you know, off-putting, but she was like, "That cologne got me feeling some type of way, and I might do something dumb if you get any closer." So she actually enjoyed it quite a bit, to the point where she was saying, "Stay away because I'm feeling some type of way." That fragrance is Apex Parfum from Roja Dove, and I have not tried the Parfum cologne version. I hear that it's really close and about half the price for double the juice, so I would recommend maybe getting your nose on and sampling all three of them. I'm sure, or sorry, all two of them. There's a clone, Middle Eastern clone, Vertex, which I don't think captures the DNA all that well, but is in the same wheelhouse as this fragrance. But what you get here is a really beautiful oak moss, some outdoorsy fir balsam style piney sensation with a really beautiful green. Dries down into something a little bit creamy. I don't know if there's sandalwood in here, but the top has a really nice medley, like a fruit basket of orange, pineapple, citrus, just a very beautiful kind of fruit basket opening, a really kind of foresty, dry pine needle mid, and then a kind of creamy, more vanillic, oak mossy dry down is really what this fragrance does. It lasts a really long time. It's super potent. I wouldn't put on more than 2 to 3 sprays because it is just super beast mode. And like I said, the closest thing I've ever come to having a panty dropper. This is Roja Apex Parfum for Friday. Friday, a day I usually like to wear niche. Okay, weekend. I went with some simple pleasures here, guilty pleasures, a couple of cheapies. This one for Saturday was Dunhill Edition. This is a creamy minty Christmas tree is how I like to describe this one. The geranium provides the minty sensation. I believe there's some sandalwood that accounts for the majority of the creamy sensation in here. And then otherwise it's got a really nice fir balsam pine style greenery going on with some pretty nice citruses to kind of round it all out. Does have a little bit more of an old school peel, but like I said, it's a guilty pleasure of mine, as you can see by the juice level. I've put a huge dent in this one. Really enjoyed wearing it out and about on Saturday, just running some errands. Again, weather kind of like what I have back here with me today. The rest of the week, other than on Wednesday and Saturday, was pretty gray, overcast, and rainy. But this one, really pleasant wear on Saturday. And then finally for Sunday, this is a new fragrance to the collection. It actually came in the mail on Saturday, so I wore it as my scent of the day on Sunday. Really impressed with this. I picked it up for under $20 on Joma Shop, and I think this is well worth being a hyped up cheapie for spring 2024. I've had my eye on it for a while, but it hasn't really come into the US discounters. It's available, I think, in Spain is where it's produced, and I've seen it on some of the European discounters, but first time having a chance getting my hands on it here in the US. This is Vetiver Bourbon from Monotheme. So really nice glass bottle, kind of a cheap plastic cap, but I think it looks pretty nice with the brand logo up top here. And this is supposed to be a really fresh vetiver fragrance. I was surprised to not see any geranium or mint in the note breakdown because it comes off very cold and crisp. Kind of definitely a white t-shirt like this. It reminds me, in terms of scent profile, a lot of Guerlain Homme. Not Guerlain Vetiver, but Guerlain Homme. Like I said, this has a really cool mojito vibe going on to it. It's almost like a mixture of Guerlain Homme and Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver with kind of piss poor performance, I want to say. Really only got about 4 hours out of this one. Might change with maceration, but for $20, this is excellent. It's doing its own thing. It's not a clone. It's a beautiful vetiver fragrance, incredibly soapy, incredibly clean, incredibly brisk, cold, and just a great wear. I felt really good wearing this fragrance. It felt good as a wearing experience and amplified that clean feeling, that fresh out of the shower vibe. And yeah, it just has a little bit of that mojito style boozy sensation going on. I don't think there's any official boozy notes in here. I think there's like artemisia, coriander, vetiver, neroli. Really awesome stuff. Like I said, it's kind of got like a nice fizzy Sprite, lemon lime kind of sensation, and then that really creamy, soapy vetiver. Excellent stuff. Definitely going to be recommending this one in my cheapie lists for spring 2024, and debating on putting it on for my scent of the day today. So that was Vetiver Bourbon from Monotheme for Sunday. Okay, that was my week in fragrance. Let me know what your rotation was in the comment section down below. Really appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.